The illusion of romantic symmetry is the greatest lie sold to the modern man. You have been conditioned to believe that attraction is born from mutual affection, from consistency, from total unwavering devotion. You have been set up to fail. Welcome to the secret playbook they do not want you to see. I am the architect, and what I am about to transmit to you is classified, dangerous intelligence. It operates in the shadows of human consciousness, bypassing the logical brain and striking directly at the reptilian core of desire. When you shower a subject with infinite validation, you do not create love, you create boredom. You kill the tension. You mathematically reduce your own value to zero. Human beings are not wired to desire what they already possess. They are wired to obsess over what they might lose. This is the architecture of dark seduction. And at its core lies a singular, devastating psychological engine, the dread mechanism. To understand the weapon, you must first study the masters who wielded it in the dark. London, 1812. The poet Lord Byron meets Lady Caroline Lamb, a woman of immense wealth, status, and aristocratic pride. By all societal metrics, men were meant to bow to her. Byron did not bow. He applied a methodology of exquisite, calculated emotional whiplash. He would isolate her, bombarding her with intoxicating, poetic praise. He made her feel like the center of the universe. Then, without warning, he would vanish. He would attend high society balls and completely ignore her presence, showering his attention on the lesser women of the court. He manufactured dread, the dread of replacement, the dread of sudden, inexplicable inadequacy. Lady Caroline Lamb went completely mad. She famously stalked him, forged his handwriting, and carved his initials into her own skin. She coined the phrase that would define him forever, calling him mad, bad, and dangerous to know. Byron understood a profound truth of human nature centuries before modern science could map it. As the ancient Roman poet Ovid wrote in his Manual of Seduction over 2 millennia ago, "Let her be kept in constant fear of losing you, for security is the mother of all boredom." But this is not mere poetry. This is hard-coded neurobiology. When you are always available, always validating her beauty, you adjust her chemical baseline. You become predictable, and predictability breeds contempt. To shatter this, you must initiate what we call the cortisol-dopamine whiplash. The neuroendocrinologist Robert Sapolsky conducted groundbreaking studies on dopamine pathways, demonstrating that dopamine is not actually about the reward itself. It is about the anticipation of the reward. Sapolsky found that when you introduce a massive element of unpredictability and stress into the anticipation window, the eventual dopamine release is exponentially magnified. When you suddenly withdraw your attention, you inflict a micro-trauma. You induce a spike in cortisol, the body's primary stress hormone. She feels the physical anxiety of your absence in her chest. The silence becomes deafening. She is starving for reassurance. When you finally break the silence with a singular warm text or a brief moment of validation, the sudden relief from the cortisol stress causes her dopamine receptors to flood her brain with overwhelming euphoria. The biological stress of your absence makes your eventual return physically addictive. She is no longer interacting with a man. She is tethered to a chemical roller coaster that you operate. This chemical control is compounded by a secondary phenomenon, the Zeigarnik romance. In the 1920s, a Russian psychologist named Bluma Zeigarnik sat in a bustling Viennese cafe and observed something strange. The waiters could remember endlessly complex, unpaid orders with perfect clarity. But the exact second the bill was settled, the memory vanished from their minds. Through rigorous experimentation, she proved what is now known as the Zeigarnik effect. The human brain obsessively retains and fixates on incomplete tasks, while instantly discarding completed ones. You must apply this to the theater of seduction. Never finish the emotional transaction. Leave your interactions abruptly incomplete. When the conversation is at its absolute peak, when she is laughing and deeply engaged, you cut the feed. You tell her you have to go. You vanish into the static without a thorough goodbye. Because the interaction was left unresolved, her brain cannot close the loop. The Zeigarnik effect forces her subconscious to replay the conversation over and over again in the dark before she sleeps. You become an unresolved puzzle. You force her brain to obsess. And obsession breeds the final, most devastating mechanism of all. In 1959, psychologists Elliot Aronson and Judson Mills conducted a landmark experiment on cognitive dissonance and effort justification. They forced subjects to go through varying degrees of severe, embarrassing initiation to join a painfully boring discussion group. The results were chilling. The subjects who suffered the most to join the group convinced themselves that the boring group was incredibly fascinating and valuable. The human brain cannot tolerate the cognitive dissonance of working hard for something worthless. Therefore, if you force the brain to work hard, it will automatically assign immense value to the objective. By utilizing the dread mechanism, you force her to perform asymmetric emotional labor. When you are silent, she is the one analyzing your motives. She is the one consulting her friends, writing and rewriting texts, trying to decode the mystery of your sudden distance. She is burning massive amounts of cognitive energy on you. Her brain must justify this exhausting emotional labor, and it does so by concluding that you must be a man of unfathomable high value. In the ruthless calculus of power dynamics, whoever invests the most emotional labor loses the power. You remain entirely unbothered, while she builds an empire of investment in her own mind. To wield this flawlessly, you must establish a sovereign baseline. You cannot fake this detachment. You must genuinely construct a reality where your mission, your wealth, and your self-mastery supersede her existence. When you pull away, you are not playing a petty game. You are returning to your empire. You give her an unforgettable, intoxicating experience of your presence, and then you seamlessly withdraw into the shadows. You do not explain yourself. You allow the unspoken presence of competition and the phantom of your absence to linger. You let her imagination invent 1,000 terrifying reasons why you pulled away. This knowledge operates outside the boundaries of conventional morality. It is cold, it is calculated, and it is absolute. Power dynamics exist in every breath you take, whether you choose to acknowledge them or not. If you do not control the frame, you are submitting to hers. Remain the predictable, over-validating baseline and watch as you are discarded for the men who understand the architecture of the human mind. Or choose the path of the mastermind. Control the cortisol, master the dread, become the architect of their obsession. If you are ready to stop being a pawn in the invisible games of society, if you are ready to decode the matrix of human behavior and wield absolute power, you know what to do. Subscribe to Dark Influence Code. We provide the weapons, you pull the trigger.